Good morning and welcome to Rose Red Homestead. And this is a day where I have to say mea culpa. Many of you, for years actually, have been warning me about plastics, and I have listened, but I haven't acted. And I have continued to use plastics for a whole lot of things. Now, this topic goes very much toward food security and toward emergency preparedness. As we think about the environment around us, it just seems like every day some new threat or warning about some new product is hitting the news, and it just travels like wildfire. And for plastics, there have been warnings and warnings and warnings. Now, I have recently had a little bit of a cathartic experience about plastics that has begun to change my attitude. And I appreciate you helping me toward that. The person that I really need to thank is my youngest daughter, Katie. Last week, my older daughter, Cindy, retired from 30 years of teaching high school. And it was a lovely graduation that we attended where they honored her. And Katie flew down from Washington State and her husband with her. And we had kind of a little family gathering and celebration for that retirement. Well, as we sat at dinner, the topic turned to plastics versus glass. And Katie was very strong-minded about some things. Now, Katie is a gastroenterology nurse practitioner, and she's very wise. Aside from all of that education that she's had, she's just a very wise person and actually always has been. And so she was telling me about some studies and some experiences that she has had with some of her patients. And so, and she warned against using plastics in certain things, and that their family is cutting way, way back on plastics. So I went to the research. Now, I don't ever want to be known as someone who's so set in my ways that I cannot learn new things and change my mind about things. And I hope that you are the same way as well. Now, I love plastics, and I have used them for 80 years. As a young child, one of the first plastic factories in the country came to Prescott, Arizona, where my grandparents live and where I often stayed. And I was introduced to plastics very early, and I have used them my whole entire life. And I personally am not suffering any of the health issues that are associated with the use of plastics and the microplastics and the nanoplastics that can affect our health as a result of using plastics. So I did some research, and I can tell you that there really is a division on what the information that is written about plastics. My trusted sources had scientifically presented their information based on testing. Then there's a whole body of literature on plastics that are just knee-jerk warning and fear-mongering. And I think I'd paid more attention to the fear-mongering because that came into my news feed and into my internet browsing much more often than did the solid scientific research. But there is some solid scientific research that does indeed illuminate the fact that plastics can be very damaging to our health. Now, here's a paragraph for us. Chemicals found in plastics include carcinogens, neurotoxin chemicals, and endocrine disrupting chemicals. Some of these chemicals can directly damage organs, leading to disease over time. Others interrupt important biological processes, often involving hormones. The problem with this is that plastics are everywhere around us, and there's so much about the plastics in our environment that we can't control. Now, we can help a little bit. We can certainly control things as much as possible, our use of plastics in our own homes. But we can't control everything, but what we can do is pretty important. And so that's what I'm turning to today. Now, here is also a scientific fact. Certain factors make plastics more likely to leach chemicals. Heat can release them from the plastic structure, and fats and oils can draw compounds out. Because of these factors, people can be exposed when they wash a plastic dish in the dishwasher or store fatty foods in plastic containers. Many products we come in contact with every day, like clothing and carpet made from synthetic materials, really are largely plastic and can release both chemicals and microplastics. And so some of those things we can control and some we can't. And I have decided that I'm not going to be panicky about it. I'm not going to be overly assertive about what we should do or what you should do about it. I'm simply going to present the pathway that I'm going to take forward from here. Now, it is true that I'm going to get rid of some of our plastics, and I'm going to start with the plastics that come into contact with food, that we are more susceptible to than nanoplastics and microplastics produced from things in our kitchen that can get into our system and cause health issues. And you've been warning me about those for a really long time. So one of those things are plastic leftover dishes for leftovers. Those little containers that you can buy that are plastic sandwich size or a little bit larger for food storage with plastic lids that you can take from the refrigerator to the microwave. Nope, not doing that anymore. We went through our drawers, and this is now, notice we don't have a whole lot, but we are throwing these away. Now, some time ago, I did a video on things I'm ditching from my kitchen, and I tried to rehome those things. These plastic things that I'm getting rid of today will not be rehomed. They're going directly into the trash. And so in place of those, I scoured my kitchen, and look what I found. I found these glass dishes in oblong, in squares, and in round that I have had just sitting over in a cabinet. I knew they were there, but I didn't really think about them for leftovers and things. I bought them more for taking food on trips and that sort of thing. And I didn't at least have to rebuy these, but notice that they do have plastic lids. And so that's a little bit of a downer, but we can fill them so that the food does not come in contact with the lid. And when we microwave, I will be microwaving these without the lids, and so it will be just in the glass. And so that's one huge change that I'm going to make. And actually, Jim said, I'm so glad to get rid of these plastic containers. All I do is hunt for the right lid that fits. And so that is now in the past for us. So something else that I'm going to pay attention to is getting rid of my plastic cutting boards. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but there are little scratches here that are from knives. And of course, as it digs into this plastic, little green bits, and I remember seeing some of those little green bits sometimes when I chopped and cut against this board. And I love this board. I love the size of it. And you've seen this in many of our videos. I have a red one that is just slightly smaller than this. Well, I'm going to say goodbye to this one as well. Along with these that I've had for many, many years. And I like to, in our videos, when I do organization ahead of time, the pre-prep stuff I do before Jim turns the camera on, I often have little bunches of chopped food set out on that green board, or on this little board. I chop onions on this one all the time. But the same thing, you can't see as readily, but these all have the knife scrapes as well, which means that little pieces of plastic have come up. So these also are going into the trash. And I am replacing those with these bamboo cutting boards. Now, I have a bamboo cutting board that is a little bit larger that I will be using along with these. But I'm pretty excited about these because the grain in bamboo is very tight, and so it is less likely to be disrupted. But we're going to take really good care of these. Look, this one already has a crack in it. This is brand new. In fact, I think this just came yesterday, didn't it, Jim?
Yeah, you need to send that back.
I may send this one back. I just now saw that. But so it's cracked between strips of wood. Here's another little crack right here, too. But these bamboo cutting boards are quite inexpensive. I will give the link to this set of 3. I won't bother with this one if that's how it's going to act. I don't want to recommend that at all. And so that's what I'm going to be using for a cutting board. And if it takes me 2 of these or 3 of these in our videos to set our little clumps of chopped food on for my pre-prep, then that's what I'll do. But I'm going to be much more mindful of using plastics for cutting and also for storing food and in the microwave. Some time ago, we also did a video on ditching our black plastics, and I will link that video to the end of this one so that you can see that. But I got rid of pretty much all of our plastic implements, and I'm using silicone and wood now for almost everything. There are a couple of things in plastic that I kept, my big canning scoop for one. And so until I find a good replacement for that one, I'm going to hang on to that. Now, something else that is really good for storing food is your canning jars, wide mouth canning jars. And while these aren't the greatest, I really like low and flat, but these work just fine also for storing food, which is something that we could do. That for those of us who can, we usually have a lot of jars that are clean and empty that we can use. Now, what am I not going to get rid of? Well, I'm not going to get rid of these plastics. I probably have 30 containers, maybe more, of these pantry. These are cereal keepers, but these are what I use in my pantry for our dry foods. Now, remember the article said that there are 2 factors that will leach the chemicals out of plastic. One is heat, and it's a high heat. And then the second one is foods that have oils or fats. Well, the dry food that I store in these has neither of those. These are inside the kitchen pantry containers. They're in my pantry here. They're in our cabinets below our bay window over here. And those I am going to keep, at least for the time being. And then the other thing that I'm going to be keeping is my plastic containers that I use for flour and sugar for bulk storage of foods like this that I get into all the time. A lot of our food storage outside is contained in the original wrapper, but inside a plastic bin, and those we're also going to keep. So it would be a budget-breaking operation for us if we were to ditch all of our plastics and replace it with either glass or metal or something else that is non-plastic. So we're not going to do that. But as we acquire new things, we're going to make sure that we are mindful of what plastics can do. Now, I also found a list of things that we can all do. I'm not going to panic about this. I hate fear-mongering, and so I'm not going to participate in fear-mongering. I'm going to be very wise and work at my own pace in doing these things, but they have 5 things here. So avoid single-use plastic, opt for reusable water bottles. This is my water bottle. It's a thermal flask that I've had for several years. Our water here, we are very blessed with wonderful water, wonderful, wonderful water. And so I'm just really lucky that the ice in our refrigerator freezer over here is made from our good water that I can fill this with and then just fill it with our water. And so I've used this. Now, up at the cabin, where we spend a lot of our time, that's a different situation. The well water there has not been tested for being potable. And so we do take water up there in the individual bottles. But if we're going to be up there long term, we're going to be looking at a different solution for that as well. Then the second item says limit packaged foods, choose fresh produce and bulk items over prepackaged foods to reduce contact with plastic wrapping. So if you go through the produce aisle, for instance, a lot of times they will have pre-chopped fruits or vegetables that are covered with plastic wrapping. A lot of vegetables are just themselves covered in plastic wrapping. And so trying to avoid those is a little bit more challenging, but you can bring them home and repackage them in something that is not plastic. So I'm going to be looking more toward that. Avoid plastic food containers, and of course that's what we have just done. Use glass, stainless steel, or ceramic containers for food storage and for cooking. The fourth one is don't microwave food in plastic, and we've already talked about that. And it says heat can cause plastics to release microplastics into your food. And then last is to choose glass or ceramic cookware and storage. Avoid plastic when heating food or storing leftovers. So that's where we are right now. Now, I'm going to get into this in a different video as well, but we have just purchased this, and I'm absolutely loving this set. This is a Staub, and this is a ceramic set. Is it ceramic? I think maybe I think it's glassware. But I have done some baking in these already, and oh my gosh, it is just absolutely wonderful. It is the best. I'm going to be doing a video on non-stick cookware, and I'll bring these out again and talk more about these. But this is one thing. I needed a new 9 by 11 pan, and I thought, well, I'm not going to go for something that has the wrong kind of coating on it. And so this is what I went for, and this is one of the best purchases we have ever made. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I invite you, any of you who have been late to the party like I have, to think about ways that we can slowly, at our own pace and without a huge one-time expense, but just as we can, switch out from our plastic food-saving type containers and avoid doing any microwave or heating of any kind with plastic containers, and to focus more on glass and ceramic and stainless steel. So that's where I stand, and come to you as a person who has changed my mind on things. So hopefully I'll always be able to learn new things and practice what is best for our health and well-being. Thanks so much for being with us on this video. We really appreciate you, and we will see you soon for more videos.